Okay, this is a follow-up of the previous video of the 64 checker two-door marathon that's been in progress since August 2015. You might have seen the one previous to this where the body was in primer. That's because we did all the body work, assembled the car, made sure all the panels fit correctly, then disassembled it, and then went to work on everything, drivetrain. And here's where we are so far. That is the motor. The motor's completely finished. It is a 1973 Chevrolet 292. It is bored 60 over with Ross pistons, forged of course, floating rods, Schneider cam, 540 lift, 300 duration. Got big block valves, 194s, 164s. I am building a second head with 202s. The head was decked 100,000s. The block was zero decked. You can't really see the headers. The headers, those couple tubes had to be moved to fit. The radiator, we had to make brackets. That is a 3-core radiator, which we made a couple brackets for. And that's the radiator they use for the CJ7 V8 conversion. 2 450 Holley tunnel ram. We did dyno the motor with 3 2-barrels on a mana-free, and it did not work well. So we went to the 2 4-barrel setup, and it made just about 375 horsepower, 418 foot-pounds of torque. Here's the back of the car. Sitting on its suspension. Gas tank is out right now because I had to modify it because we did shorten the rear. There's a Dana 60. Don't know if you could see it. That's a shortened Dana 60 out of a 79 Ford, 430 gears with a Posi-Track locker. The traction bars were custom made by my buddy Brian. It's got an electric fuel pump in it. The exhaust system, it goes into a Y, into a 2-chambered muffler. What did I put on there? You gotta look at the box to remember what the hell kind of muffler that is. And then this exhaust pipe will exit about right there. So you're gonna have 2-in-1 exhaust. There's the new drive shaft. That's the old one. We did have a custom-made drive shaft with 1350 U-joints. It's all aluminum. It weighs about 4 or 5 pounds, which is 1/3 the weight of the factory. That's an aftermarket throttle I did buy that from Speedway Motors. We had to modify the floor here to get a space, flat area, so we could mount it. That's a Competition Plus shifter, M21 close box out of a 68 Pontiac, so it is a long tail. Keep the drive shaft short. We do have an NOS glass for it. Of course, you see the front drag skinnies on the back, on the front. For the back, we got the Mickey Thompsons on 15x8s. And they do fit well. Did not have to modify anything on a wheelhouse, but it is very, very close. But not too close. And here you see the traction bars there. So as you can see, we are making progress with the car. There's still a lot to go. We're going to put twin electric fans on it. It takes a small block Chevy or a big block Chevy motor mount. Of course, those brackets were fabbed by 12bolt.com. That spacer underneath was done by Mr. Hot Rod, because the valve train with the roller rockers were so tall that that extra tall valve cover would not fit. Had to recess the firewall almost 2 inches to get the motor to fit in. I did make it so you can adjust the motor and trans forward or backwards. There was a little play in that. Underneath you'll see that's the fabricated transmission mount. That's the exhaust system there. You'll see again, we got a 2-in-1. They're about 30 inches long. I'm trying to keep this as period correct as possible. So people ask me why I'm going with drum brakes. There's the modified Firewall, where we recessed it. Car has 11-inch Studebaker front drums. And of course it has that Hillborn looking air cleaner. And that's about as far as we got so far. You can see I got a lot of parts. I got a lot of trim left to do. Right now we're making a dash. If you know anything about a checker, this is what this center dash is going to look like, which will be removable. There's just an extra gauge put in there, so we're going to have a built-in tack. We'll have a heater and all the other gauges. And we're going to go with a whole new wiring harness. So we're going to run 12 bolts all the way. And all the trim's been re-chromed. So that's tail lights, and of course the headlight bezels are also been show chromed. The bumpers have been done. New rubbers for the windshield. Working on the, we're gonna have to run some water here through the intake. But there will be a valve to shut that off once the engine warms up. Everything had to be moved a little bit. You can shim the motor front or back to move it a little bit. So it is coming along. That is the finished paint job. It has not been polished, but everything on the car has been rebuilt, replaced, or refurbished. The good thing is that we started with a 64 stock checker, which was completely rust-free. That made it a lot easier. So there was a whole bunch of there's not a whole bunch of rust repair to do. Well, that inside metal has all been hand fabricated. And you can see a little inside of the quarters. This has all been hand fabricated from here to about there on the quarter panels. And there is plenty of room in the tire. So that's about as far as we got right now. That's about where it's sitting. But it is getting there. It's not easy. You know, when you're building a Chevelle or you're building a regular factory car, you call up a company, you order what you need, and they send it to you. If I need something here, I have to make it, because nobody makes parts for checkers. A couple people make some stuff for it, but it certainly is a challenge. And you think it weighs a lot, but it's not a very heavy car. Estimated weight done is about 3,500 pounds. Should run somewhere between a 1230 and a 1250 and a quarter when it's completely done. But the motor did go very well on a dyno once we put the 2 4-barrels on it. And that's where it is now. So I plan on making a video of it when it's completely done, of how we started, when we started, and what it looked like. So thanks for checking it out. And I want to thank everybody who's helped me along with advice along the way.